Welcome to the Lee Schools TV podcast for April. I'm Rob Spicker in the Communications Department and your host for our conversation today. Glad you could join us. The school district has just announced a performance-driven focus and is streamlining the central office staff in a reorganization, implementing 5% budget cuts across all district departments. Joining us today to talk about this emphasis on fiscal responsibility is our Chief Financial Officer, Dr. Amy Desamours. I want to appreciate you. Thank you for coming in this morning, Dr. Desamours.
Thank you for having me.
Let's talk about this idea of fiscal responsibility. Really nothing new to the school district, but it has a renewed focus right now, and you've developed an action plan going forward. So talk to me about this action plan. What does it entail?
Yes, I think as you mentioned, yes, fiscal responsibility is something that the school district always tries to practice, but this is a special highlight and focus for everyone so that people in our community know, so that each of us, every employee understands that it really is everyone's responsibility. We want to have all of our employees understand that fiscal responsibility isn't something we do, it's who we are. And so if we can incorporate that mindset with each of us, then every single incremental step that we make to be more efficient, to save resources, whether that be money or time, because time is money, then that really adds up to the efficiency of the district and ultimately helping us reach our goal to make sure that every student reaches his or her highest personal potential.
One of the aspects of the of this plan is identifying new sources of revenue. There's some opportunities out there. Can you tell us kind of what we might be missing and what we need to go after?
Yes, absolutely. There are, of course, two different sides to every budget picture, and that is your revenue and your expenditures. You spoke briefly about some of the things on the expenditure side that we're doing to be more efficient, but then there's also the opportunities for maybe additional revenue that we don't currently maximize at this point. A couple of examples of that would be speeding tickets through for people who speed through speeding zones. That new process is being incorporated in various areas across the county, and speeding through school zones will be something that even though we want to discourage that, so we're hoping that nobody does do that, but the penalty for doing that will bring some monetary value to the district so that we can incorporate those dollars and utilize them in our operations every day and helping us reach our goals. In addition, things like some types of specific services that we offer to some of our students makes us eligible for Medicaid dollars, and being able to maximize the reporting of that so that we get as much funding back from that revenue source as we can will also help us to be able to increase our revenues and thereby reaching our goals.
Overall, is this a mindset change, or is it something even more fundamentally different in the way we're approaching our budgeting processes?
It absolutely is a mindset change, because we are trying to incorporate or trying to help everyone understand where they fit into that picture. And it's also a fundamental change in terms of how we're communicating that and actually setting out basic financial responsibility tenets that we want to make sure that everyone understands and that we all follow, and then creating action plans and action plan steps inside of that, and measuring our progress towards all of the goals that we've set.
What do you think is key for the public? They're the ones providing a lot of the revenue, but the budget is just it's a massive, hard to understand unless that's your world.
Yes.
Book. So what do you think is key for that public out there, the message they should get from fiscal responsibility?
I think the message that the public should receive is that as far as first of all, understanding what fiscal responsibility means and what it is. We want to make sure that they understand that we take our responsibility with their tax dollars and all dollars that we get very seriously, and we want them to have the confidence to understand that we are making decisions and doing things that they can feel confident about how our dollars are being utilized and how money is being expended. So that really is the bottom line. We certainly want to make sure to put as much information out as anybody wants to consume. So if people want to more fully understand the budget or really read the budget book from cover to cover, paper or have other questions that they want to research. We want to put all of that information out there to be able to find the answer, for them to find the answers, because part of fiscal responsibility is transparency of those things. But for those who may not be so interested in doing all of that, but want to have a comfort level as to the processes that are in place to make sure that the outcome is what they would expect it to be, then we certainly want to build the confidence in that as well.
The superintendent recently announced that 5% budget cut across departments, a streamlined reorganization of the district office. Why are those steps so important to this process?
Important to the process because again, in terms of utilizing all of our funds as efficient, our funds, our people, our resources as efficiently as we can to accomplish all of the things that we need to accomplish across the district, and aligning all of our funding with our priorities. And that's one of the tenets of fiscal responsibility, to do that. And so just a different perspective in terms of how we're doing that.
So let's kind of go through the budget process, if we can, a little bit. How and where do you start with an organization as big as the school district?
Yes. Well, it's basically, to break it down pretty simplistically, it's broken down into two different parts and pieces. We have our schools and then our departments, or the central office functions. The schools are the largest part of the budget. Once we figure out the budgets for schools, that's 70 to 75% of the budget. So we have a process by which we build a formula for how schools will receive funds based on the number of students they have, the types of students they have, the types of programs that they have, and the resources that they need to hopefully fulfill all the goals that any individual school may have. So the school process is a pot that sits in and of itself that we work on. And then the department process is a little bit more of a surgical process, where we are receiving requests for different things a department may need, reviewing each of those line by line, and then based on a prioritization process, determining, based on the funding that is left after schools have been funded, what is it that we can do at our department level based on the priorities that we've set and how we prioritize those requests.
So schools first.
Absolutely.
They get the first slice at the pie. Hand in hand, you're working with the schools to figure out their budget.
Yes, absolutely.
Along the way, are there many updates or refinements? And how do you finally come to that last complete version?
Daily updates and refinements. By statute, the dates are set in terms of when the district, or every school district, must present a tentative budget to their board and a final budget to their board. So the final budget goes, even though our fiscal year starts in July 1st, the final budget doesn't go to the board to be approved until September, and that's by state statute, and the timelines are set within there. So between now and September, we will be doing lots of different iterations, runs of the budget, trying to see where we are in terms of our estimated revenues with our expenditures, because in actuality, we won't even get a finalized revenue picture from the state legislature until July, when we receive our, what they call our second calculation, or the finalized legislative process in terms of the revenues from the state that we would be receiving. So between now and then, lots of different runs with estimations of revenue, estimations of new expenditures for next year, building in different scenarios and different thoughts of what might happen next year, what could be happening, anything that we believe that we need to anticipate for, because every day is a new day and brings new challenges and opportunity inside of the school district, and making sure that we're building the budget to be able to handle any contingencies that may come throughout the year, because every day is new. And even after the final budget is approved in September, it's not as final as the name may suggest, because budget amendments or changes to the budget happen really on a daily basis at both the school level and the department level. And part of what we do throughout the year is monitor those and make sure that we are still moving according to plan. And if we need to do something to adjust plan, then we must do it at that point.
Yeah, we've seen that. We get hurricanes. We
Yes.
get bad weather, all those kind of things.
We don't anymore.
Yeah, we don't want it anymore. But you got to tuck something away. Just
Absolutely.
In case. Yeah.
Yes.
Does the focus change any of the procedures, or just sort of make sure everybody's focused in on them more?
I think the fiscal responsibility focus makes sure that we're all focused in on that. It creates a set of priorities for us crystal clear, and then we then have the responsibility of holding ourselves accountable to the priorities that we've set out for ourselves.
And how are you maintaining, say, accuracy and accountability to make sure money is spent on the priorities?
Yes, well, I definitely have to shout out to all of the business services staff who help with the day-to-day and the function behind the processes that we set up to make sure that we are as accurate as we can be, that we are thinking of all the different scenarios, that we ask any of the questions that we need to ask, because all of this is really a mindset. The fiscal responsibility really is a mindset. It really takes everyone who has any responsibility, whether it be responsibility over any type of monetary resource, any type of human resource, to participate in that process, be an active participant, and ensure that together we're holding ourselves accountable for following the processes.
One of the things you mentioned as part of the action plan earlier was that there is going to be an increased effort to get information to the public.
Yes.
So as we move through the budget process and into the fall, what do you think that might look like?
Well, that will look like a monthly financial update that really will be to the board, but also to available for the public as well. That gives additional information as to how our finances are moving throughout the year, giving little tidbits of information related to some financial aspect that might be relevant in that particular time frame, to build the knowledge base of the community and help answer some of the questions that they may have. So that's one of the things that we intend to do in the future that will help that communication or that information to the public.
Now, the bottom line is we're trying to develop a spending plan that benefits student achievement, safe schools, teacher retention and recruitment, all those district priorities to make sure that they are funded to the best of our ability, correct?
Correct.
And
absolutely.
How do you know when you're there? Do you just feel it?
I think in it really is the journey. I don't know that the journey has a complete destination, because every day we can always get better. We strive for perfection, but we don't necessarily ever get there. But I think we definitely know that we're in the right direction when our student academic performance is increasing, when student and parent satisfaction is increasing, when we have children and parents that continue to choose into our school district because they know that we offer a supreme product, then that's how we know that we are absolutely moving in the right direction. But again, it's always a journey and never necessarily a destination.
Gotcha. Well, Dr. Desamours, I want to appreciate you. Thank you for coming in, kind of walking us through this idea about fiscal responsibility to make sure we're as much as we can understanding what's happening with the budget.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Appreciate your time. And we're coming back next month with another edition of the Lee Schools TV podcast.